Show me what your body can do.
Hi, this is Jovanka from JovankaCiares.com, and today we have a very special guest. She is a YouTube rock star. Hi, Trisha. This is Trisha from The Naked Truth. And
a rock star. I feel so special.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't you tell my audience a little bit about you?
Okay, perfect. So my name is Trisha Hershberger, and I have been producing and writing and being talent in YouTube videos for the past 3.5 years. And I do that for a variety of different channels. You may have seen me on SourceFed or SourceFed Nerd. You may have seen me on YouTubers React or Last Moments of Relationships with the Fine Brothers. I've done guest appearances kind of all over the place, and I'm currently making content for The Escapist and hosting a show for All Me and occasionally guesting on Screen Junkies. So, like I said, you'll see me a little bit of everywhere. I also have my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/nerdychick5, where I do tech reviews and video gaming stuffs, and my Naked Truth series, which is why Jovanka and I are both on natural right now.
You know, truth. And didn't I tell you that she's a superstar? This is why I meant to say that she's a superstar. Trisha and I met a few months ago, and we decided to have a conversation about, today we're going to talk about healthy body images and whether or not it's true that men may prefer women to be skinny, or is that actually all about our own perception of beauty, or is it really true? Are we doing this truly for men, or are we doing this for ourselves? So we're going to have a great old time and talk about trends, but at the same time about healthy living and how to be happy and healthy with the body that you have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jovanka, I've got a question for you. Why do you think it is that so many people, both men and women, equate skinny with healthy?
You know, I think it's been a trend for, I don't know, I want to say at this point 2 or 3 generations, where maybe the beauty industry decided that it was a lot easier. I mean, I've spoken to people that are models, and they will tell you it is not about being beautiful. It is not about our bodies. We are simply hangers to clothes. But for some strange reason, we decided, or somebody decided, that that was supposed to be beautiful.
Well, wasn't it with Twiggy, the model Twiggy, when she really hit it big, then everyone wanted to look like her?
I mean, I guess so. I don't know. When was she around? Was it in the 80s?
I want to say the 80s, yeah. I want to say like maybe late 80s.
Yeah.
But Twiggy, in my opinion, or at least in my recollection, was the first one to have that super, super straight body that all clothes just look beautiful on. And like you said, your job is to be a hanger. I lived with a girl when I first moved to LA. Her name is Izzy. She's a beautiful girl. She was like 5'11" and weighed 80-something pounds because she was a runway model, and she barely ate. And she said, you know, this is the way I have to stay if I want to work, because it looks prettier in pictures and it looks prettier on the runway when I'm wearing clothes. But would I necessarily equate her with healthy?
Really, and that takes me to my question for you. Do you actually think, because you know, there seems to be a little bit of a controversy between how women see themselves and how men see women. What is that standard of beauty from a man's point of view? Most of us are attracted to men, and we want to be attractive to men. So I guess my question to you is, do you think men really prefer women to be really skinny and that kind of like a curveless shape, or maybe a little bit of a curvy thing that they can grab and have fun with?
So I was doing some research on this today prior to our conversation, and kind of everything I found that were either men's magazines, but I also don't want to rule out women that are attracted to women. Anyone who's looking to attract someone of the opposite sex, everything I was reading says that it's more about body ratios than it is about your actual weight. So women who are obsessed with like a waist measurement, it's not really about that. It's more, at least from a biological attractive level, it's more about the ratio between your waist measurement and your hip measurement. Or your bust measurement to your waist measurement to your hip measurement. It's about those ratios. And I mean, I wouldn't say that then people who maybe don't have as much of an hourglass figures as others should become obsessed over that. But my guess would be, again, I'm not the fitness expert you are, my guess would be that aiming for body ratios is probably a healthier self-image, a healthier way to view yourself than just to try to be as skinny as possible. Because, I mean, I can tell kind of a personal story here. When I was younger, when I was in college, I went through a phase where I was kind of obsessed with being as skinny as possible because I thought that that was what was attractive and that's what I should be shooting for. And I got to the point where I was really unhealthy. And I went into my school nurse for something, and from either a blood test or a urine test or something, my school nurse was like, "Hey, are you fasting right now?" And I said, "No." And she was like, "Okay, well, you need to eat more. You're not eating enough."
Yeah.
And at the time, I was just calorie counting and, you know, working out. But I think a lot of us, both men and women, tend to be perfectionists and tend to be very hard on ourselves. So when we're shooting for a goal, why not overshoot for it? But that can get really unhealthy when your goal is to be as thin as possible, because then you can err on the side of malnourished.
And in my line of work, I see this a lot. Women that are, you could be overweight and actually be malnourished, because you feel like you need to have that caloric deficiency in order to lose weight, when in fact, I personally recommend a diet that allows you to eat a lot more. Just you're eating the right types of food, and you're allowing your body to be absolutely nourished. And more than that ratio of like hip to waist, I'm more interested in allowing women and men to be happy and content with what is at this moment. Whatever, perfect imperfection, just like, you know, our beautiful boy says, we want to be happy with what is at this moment, and we want to find a little bit of perfection within that reality and then improve from there. And that may mean that you have a beautiful hourglass shape, and it may mean that you may be a little rounder, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, and so that kind of makes me think about this trend going on right now, the thigh gap, and everybody wants the thigh gap, and that just came out, in the last year or two, mostly because of Victoria's Secret models, because people saw that and said, oh, I want to look like that, which, of course, there's nothing wrong with seeing an ideal and thinking, oh, I'd like to shoot for that, but genetically, the thigh gap is not possible for everyone. Like, you have to have a certain...
the world's population can achieve something like that. So that you're failing already when you haven't even started, right? And to me, it's a bit of a shocking situation. I come from a Latin background, and so women are beauty is perceived as a woman that's a lot curvier, and the thicker your thighs and the thicker your butt, the better. I mean, think of Sofia Vergara, think of J-Lo, though that's the standard of beauty in Latin America. So I remember listening to this, and it was like, it makes no sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I talked to some of my male friends who said, we actually love women that have beautiful, strong legs. We love that. We want to be able to see a leg that is feminine and curvy. We don't want a leg that looks like ours, because what's the point?
Yeah, I think that, you know, everyone out there, male or female, has something unique that they're attracted to. So I'll use the example of my former roommate, Izzy, again. While there were some guys who were like, oh, she's way too thin, I feel like if I hugged her too hard, I'd break her. There were other guys who saw her and just thought she was the most angelic woman on the planet. And that makes me just want to reinforce to all of the viewers at home that there is somebody out there for every type.
Absolutely.
There are people that are attracted to all types of things. So some people will grow up in cultures where they're like, yeah, I want a curvy woman. Like, that's what I want. That's what's beautiful to me. And other people who will naturally be attracted to something else. So like you said, Jovanka, you know, like, be happy with who you are in the present and love who you are in the present. And how can you expect somebody else to love your body if you don't love your body?
Absolutely.
And please don't misinterpret that as me saying, you know, this is an excuse to not have goals or to not work towards anything. You can certainly do that while appreciating what you have to offer in the moment.
Correct.
And I think that that's an important distinction.
Yeah, it's almost impossible in my experience with clients to love others, to love others when you don't love yourself, and to expect others to love you when you don't love yourself. So that's maybe a lifelong process for most of us, because of, you know, the barrage of information from the media that tells us that we're supposed to prescribe to a particular standard. We as women especially, which tend to be you know, attacked just by the way we look so much more than men do, we need to stick together. And that's actually a very good point that I wanted to ask you, because I know you're a very popular YouTuber, and you probably have heard some of the controversy out there from other YouTubers talking about like just attacking one another because they may disagree with their lifestyle, and that person is too skinny and this person is whatever. What do you think about all of that?
Oh, YouTubers attacking other YouTubers? Stop it. I think the people that do it, in my opinion, are primarily doing it for attention, because if they can start a fight with another big personality and that becomes something that's public, you know, any publicity is good publicity. So they're getting the extra eyes on them. They're getting their name out there regardless. I think that everyone needs to be happy on their own. And I know especially in the YouTuber community, what feeds a lot of those people is, you know, hearing the response from their audience. So they're constantly seeking some kind of validation through the internet. It's, you know, a lot of people think, oh, I can say anything I want that's bad about YouTubers and it won't hurt them. But I feel like it's actually the contrary. And just kind of like in high school, how, you know, when people are insecure, they lash out at other people. I feel like it's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, when people are kind of giving that criticism, I always say with any kind of bullying, whether it's body image bullying or otherwise, remember that it's more about them and where they're at that moment than it is about you. And as long as you can, I know sometimes in the moment it's hard to remember that, but the more you can remind yourself of that, the better. So if anyone's body shaming, I just had a video go up, I don't know, last month, where someone decided that my thighs were what they wanted to attack, and they were calling me thunder thighs and get to the gym, you cow, and all this stuff, which was very funny to me because I don't really have body image issues. Like, yes, my thighs now are bigger than they were, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago, but my body shape has changed. I'm a woman. Hormones are different. Like, that's how that works. And I'm perfectly happy with how I look. So when this person was very, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna hit her where it hurts, it didn't hurt. Like, I just kind of thought, wow, that's really sad that you're attacking me. I mean, like, I didn't respond with this because I didn't want to fight the fight. But I thought, you know, you're telling me I need to get to the gym. I'm such a cow. I'm thunder thighs, whatever, whatever. I'm a size 2.
And I know you are because I've seen you in person.
I'm a very short girl. So yes, I'm a short, very curvy girl. But I'm a pretty petite person in general. So that's, I mean, I'm short and round and curvy, and that's okay. I'm a hobbit in real life, and I love it. I don't need to be an elf. I'm happy being a hobbit. I thought, how awful is that for the people that this person attacks who are actually self-conscious about their weight? You know, like, what are you going to attack people then for being too tall, or come after me for being too short, or, you know, as much as you can, try to love yourself and don't let other people's critiques bother you.
Yeah, my attacks actually come, the last person that attacked me attacked the color of my skin and equated to poop, which I was, some of my friends were actually more offended than I was about it. But and you know, after so many years of like learning and reading and studying and working with people, you realize that for someone to say comments like that, the pain in their heart must be really, really strong.
Right.
So to me, it's all about sending a prayer and sending beautiful energies, because those people need beautiful energies more than, you know, the rest of us, or anybody that has a little bit more of a positive attitude about everybody else, even if you disagree with them.
Yeah, for sure. So here's a question I have for you. When you're dealing with, or you're coaching someone who just wants to keep getting thinner and thinner to the point where you realize that they're kind of going down a path that's not good for them, how do you approach talking to them about that?
I never get to that point. Obviously, part of the work involves working with their doctor if they're under doctor's care. But if they're not, it's very obvious when you know that someone, all they want is for you to give them something that's going to help them lose 10 pounds in 2 days, which is an impossibility, right? Like, you can't do that. So I spend a lot of my time talking to people about their lives and their relationship with their bodies. It's all about rethinking that beautiful relationship with this that is the only home that you have to live in, right? You can't change it. I mean, you can, yeah, you could do plastic surgery or whatever, but you know
You're
what I
not
mean?
renting a new one temporarily.
You're not. And I'm more concerned about teaching you how to take care of your liver or your kidneys or things that you cannot change very easily than I'm concerned about, whether your hair is blonde or is thicker or your eyes are brighter. When you feed the inside, it shows on the outside. So the beauty of your skin and your eyes and your hair and your smaller waist, it's all about the choices that you make with your mouth with every single bite. So that's most of the work that I do, is just telling people how to rethink that relationship with the body and with the foods that they eat. To understand that foods are not the enemy. On the contrary, if you consume the right foods, they're like, just think about going to a supermarket. It's like a rainbow. And it's amazing. And
yeah, I could never think of food as the enemy. I like food way too much.
We can't survive without it. So why would we be just so scared of it? Just eat, people, eat. I love eating. Just eat. It's fabulous.
And so if the media is reaching out towards women and saying, oh, the thigh gap is what we want, and these beautiful skinny models look so good in this dress, you should be like that to look like this in this dress, I would say they're also reaching out, the media is also reaching out to men in a way to say, you need to have this specific muscular physique, and I'm like doing this to be like big shoulders and, big pectorals. And again, just genetically, some people don't have that in their makeup. So if you have a guy who's just determined to turn into like huge muscle guy, what would you say to someone like that?
Then I will put together a little dietary plan to help them gain a little bit more muscle and work with their particular body type. With just exactly what you said, I work very much with the principles of Ayurveda and Chinese medicine that understand that everybody is a universe. So what works for you is not going to work for me. I'm going to do something that's specific for you. And there's a big chance that you will never be a 6'5", 200-pound, strong, buff creature. But there will be someone out there that loves short men that are, a little bit slimmer. And that's beautiful. So,
yes, there is somebody out there for everyone, which is why I think it's so awesome that Thick Girl Appreciation Day was trending today, and there were lots of beautiful, curvaceous women taking pictures and putting them out there. And yeah, I just think it's so important for us to reinforce as much as possible that there are different ways to be beautiful. There's not one mold that we all need to fit. And the more that we can individually believe that, the more I hope that will spread throughout social media, for one. And if it has to start in social media, good for us on the social media front. But then get to traditional media and reach people, those young, impressionable men and women who are feeling like they have to attain something that genetically is not possible for them to attain. That sucks. That sucks.
It's all about paying it forward. So tomorrow, everybody should go out there and say to someone they like, I think you're beautiful, or say something complimentary about someone they truly, truly like, because it's just great. It makes us feel really, really nice.
I love that. You know what? I had a different question to ask our audience for today, but I think instead of that question, we should tell people to go out there and do something nice for somebody, and then tell us about it. Do something nice to make someone else feel good about themselves for no reason other than because you watched this episode.
Tell them why you think they're amazing, and let us know then what they say, how they react. We want to hear about you, so let us know.
Yeah, so you can let us know in the comments section. You can let us know with the video response, whatever you choose to do. Yeah. But this has been awesome, Jovanka. Thank you so much for hanging out and having a great chit-chat about fitness and health and, reinforcing the idea that skinny isn't necessarily the be-all, end-all. Skinny can be beautiful.
Absolutely.
But thick and curvy can be beautiful too.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for being here as well, and for bringing your beautiful just persona and your take on all these issues. This is really, really important.
Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you so much. We'll sign off, and I guess I'll see you soon.
You too.
Okay. Bye, girl.
Bye.